Hi, I'm Dr. Paul. Let me share with you the top 5 motives of where patients seek chiropractic treatment and where you should focus your marketing. Now, these are the top 5 service factors. In other words, after a patient has an established need, they will look in one of 5 categories, and it's true for every industry. These are very specific for chiropractic. Now, number one in every industry is the trust category. In other words, anytime somebody has a need, they would much rather turn to a trusted person like a spouse, significant other, family member, friend, etc., to ask where they can find that particular service provider or chiropractor in this particular instance. So it is number one in every industry. Now, the reason it's like that is trust creates security. And remember, security is the second highest need in life after the physiological needs. So that's very important. And it's low risk, which is opposite or helps in the security category. So this is also why you should always be talking to your past patients, talking, messaging, helping, working with, supporting your past patients. Because not only do they get in re-injuries, but remember they have a circle of influence of 7. The average person has what's called a circle of influence. That's a high trusted category. And so if you took your past patients and you multiplied that times 7, that's how many people you would have direct access to over your competition. Now, the second category after trust is proximity or location, and now we start getting into advertising. Now, proximity and location is 75% of the reason why a potential chiropractic patient will pick a chiropractor. Now, this is, of course, after the trust category. So, now some of the major factors that are important is the what's called the geographic radius of draw. There are limits that people will go to particular offices, and they vary between inner city, suburb, and rural areas. And most of it has to do with psychographic barriers, obstacles such as the traffic, street lights, time, the train, in other words, the difficulty in time getting there. And they're both different. Inner city, it's typically 1 mile. Suburbs is you'll get 80% of your business in 2.5 miles. And a rural area, it's essentially 7 miles. So they're all different, even though all offices are chiropractic. Now, this is why the internet and search engine optimization, or SEO, is so important. That if 3 out of 4 of the patients are basing their decision on which chiropractor to go to based on location, it is very important that in your marketing that location be a primary factor, especially for the internet where many people go, whether it's to look up their insurance company or Google local for business or to Google their conditions. The the um, the location is going to be the number one factor, and so you want all your material on the internet, what's called SEO or search engine optimized, for your geographic radius of draw location, and that is vital. Now, number 3 is price, and that's 15%. And they all fall in line. Remember, they're not black or white. There's overlap here, and so there has to be price as a factor. But this is why being on the insurance plans is so important, because if you're not on those insurance plans, what they're looking for, remember, they'll go to those insurance plans because they've been trained that it costs less if they pick a provider on their plan. So they'll go or Google those plans and look for those plans. And that's why it's so important to be on those insurance plans. At least you have the ability to communicate and talk with those patients. And even if their insurance is not the best insurance or doesn't cover all the care. Whereas if you're not even on the plan itself, then you don't even have an option of that person contacting you. And so the factors they'll also look for is if you accept their insurance, what their out-of-pocket expense is going to be after the insurance. Will you bill their insurance? And so again, this is why being on all the insurance companies is so important, even if they have limited coverage. Number 4 is what's called the service factor, and it's only 3%. It's a very, very small, and service factors are things such as you open early, you stay late, You're open on Saturdays. These are some of the common service factors. Now, here's why it's a bad news to market based on a service factor. Is you have to remember that it's only 3% of the reason why somebody will pick a chiropractor. And number two is we're talking about only 8% of the population looking for a chiropractor. And number three, that is limited to your geographic radius of draw. So to actually go after such a small number, 3% of 8%, limited in a geographic draw or radius, that is a very bad marketing message or a very bad unique segment position, the service factor. Number five is quality, and only 3% of patients will pick quality. And quality factors are like specific techniques, specialized therapy, specialized education. And the reason it's such a small number is they expect quality because you're licensed. Licensed professionals, the population at large, expects quality. Now, I'm not saying it's true or not, but they expect quality just because you're licensed, whether you're a chiropractor or you're a dentist or you're a CPA, whatever. And so that is why it is such a small number. So again, if you're using one of your messages and your marketing that is a quality message, that is only 3% that are looking for you out of 8%, again, in a very limited geographic radius of draw. Those are very, very bad numbers. And so that is why you would never want to focus on quality or service factors or also price when marketing. And so location in a chiropractor's office, overwhelmingly, 75%, it's hands down, is why a person will go to or pick a chiropractor. Now, for more information, you go to Online Chiropractic Marketing Systems. It's really internet-based new patient marketing for low-tech chiropractors. And I have a free internet marketing training course there for chiropractors, so you can go ahead and sign up for that. It's a pretty good course that explains really how the internet works. And you can find that course at onlinechiropracticmarketingsystems.com, or you can give me a call at 813, I'm Dr. Paul. You can give me a call at 813-480-1693.